Welcome to Water and Ice Outdoors. Thanks for joining me today. I've got a quick video product review for you today on a product called the Piranha Rod Rack. Now, these guys reached out to me on my Instagram page. I had actually never heard of the product before, but I'm always looking for a better rod rack system, and I wanted to try this one out, and they asked me to do a review video on it, so here it is, the Piranha Rod Rack. So here in Minnesota and the ice belt in the upper Midwest, we have two fishing seasons. We have the open water season and we have the ice fishing season. So right around November, the majority of us put our boats away in storage and get ready for the ice season. And when we do that, we take all our rods out of our boats and usually ends up in a pile in some corner in your garage or your basement that looks a lot like this one. Now, rod racks are key for us. It helps keep our rods organized, it helps keep our rods protected, and it keeps things out of the way. Now, what I'm going to be talking about today is the Piranha Rod Rack. Now, these have actually been out on the market for a long time. It seems to me as it's more saltwater based, so a lot of the saltwater anglers or down south know about these. I've never seen these up here, but they are carried in Cabela's, they are carried in some of the other big outdoor retailers here in Minnesota and the upper Midwest. So check them out. I'm going to do a quick review on these, and it's really simple to install, as you'll see, and it actually works pretty well for just being a single unit rod rack instead of your basic 2-unit rod rack. So here's the Piranha Rack. As you can see, it's a single rack. There's no stand at the bottom that the rods rest on. It's basically a pinch system. So you place your rods in these slots and they slide down just below one of the guides, and the taper of the wraps, the guide wraps, actually kind of lock them in there. It's a pretty smart idea. It's stamped steel, so it's very durable. It probably weighs about 2 to 3 pounds just itself. And then it's got this ultra thick vinyl coating on here, so it's going to protect your rods, and it's also going to create a little bit of a sticky finish. So all you do with this system is you take one of your rods, face your guides outwards, and put it in about an inch below one of the guides, whatever level you want to set it at. And then you just let it slide down and it holds it right in place. You can see it's a good tight hold. So when I first got this Piranha Rod Rack, I had a couple doubts. As I said, I'm not with this company. They don't sponsor me. They just sent me a couple of these to try. So I'm trying to get my honest opinions here. Now, the first thing I noticed was everything's straight across here with the rod rack. So I was worried about, rods clanging into each other, different sizes of rods, how they would fit. But they have, every other slot is a thin slot, and then the other slots are about a 1/2 inch wide. So we've got all kinds of different rods here. We've got some bass rods, we've got a catfish rod, and we've even got a little tiny 5.5 foot panfish rod sitting right here. And they're all in there. I mean, it holds it right to the wall. That's what I'm most impressed with this so far, is how sturdy it keeps the rods, like tight to the wall. Even though it's only got one rack here, it still keeps your rods tight to the wall, as you can see. So the biggest question mark I had with the Piranha Rod Rack is, how is it going to work if we want to keep our rods in our rod socks? Most of us have rods and rod socks either because we keep our rods in rod lockers on our boats, or when we store them, we just like to make sure that the rod's protected and they don't get all twisted up like they do if they don't. So how would this rod rack, which uses just friction to hold your rod in place, how would that work? The rod's just going to slide out of the rod, right? That's my impression. That's what my initial thought was. So let's try it. Doesn't slide out. I was shocked, honestly. I couldn't believe it. I thought for sure the rod would just slide right out of the rod sock, and it doesn't. I think because it has this, kind of sticky cover coating on there, I think it actually pushes away some of the fibers on the rod sock and still can grab onto the rod and hold it there. I was super impressed with that. That was the one thing that I thought was going to be a deal breaker for me for this rack. So I was pretty happy to see that. All right, let's talk about installation. This could not be any easier. The installation kit is 2 screws. That's it. So there's 2 holes, or 2 sets of holes, I should say. One here and one here, and that's at about 16 inches, so it fits your standard studs. Because this is a heavy rod rack, you're gonna want to screw this into studs. So there's 2 sets right here, and then if you have wider studs, there's another set on the outside. And there's self-tapping screws, so you make sure you're lined up with the studs. The packaging says put it at about a height of about 5 feet, and that'll be perfect. And that's about what this is. Then you screw your screws in, make sure it's tight, and that's it. Literally took me 20 seconds to install this right here. Couldn't be any simpler. I'm pretty impressed with this. So final thoughts on the Piranha rod rack. I'm pretty impressed. This thing's pretty slick. I like how the rods fit. I was really impressed with how tight it kept the rods to the wall. They're not swinging around, they're not loose. I was impressed with it. And secondly, the fact that you can still keep your rod socks on your rods is a huge bonus, and that can be used with your rod socks on your rod. Super cool. So all in all, I think I'd give this rod rack a B+ for this style. It's not your end-all be-all rod rack. It can probably hold, I'd say, 8 to 12 rods on here comfortably. And you know, it's a good product. I like it. I'm impressed. It lists for $29.99 on Cabela's.com, so it may vary, you know, other places that you might go. But check your local retailer for these, your outdoor retailer for these, because it's a pretty cool system. And I've got another one. They also sent me a ceiling rack, which I think is going to be really cool. I'm excited for that one. So check these guys out, PiranhaRodRack.com. They've been in the game for a long time. They know what they're doing. And these are very heavy built and very, very durable. It's going to last you a long time. Hey guys, thanks for watching this review from Water and Ice Outdoors. I hope you found this useful. I hope you check out Piranha Rod Racks. Go to www.piranharodracks.com. They've been in the game for a long time, and it's a cool product. So as always, thanks for watching Water and Ice Outdoors. I appreciate it. Click that subscribe button if you like what you see. And for extra content, check us out on Instagram at waterandiceoutdoors.com.